Understanding human nature has been a timeless pursuit, one that stretches across cultures, philosophies, and religions. In the teachings of Buddhism, wisdom is not found in surface-level assessments, but in the deeper, more subtle ways people behave in their everyday lives. It is in the smallest of actions, the moments when no one is watching, the way someone treats those who have nothing to offer in return. These are the true measures of character. Too often, people focus on words, on appearances, on the external displays of virtue. But true insight comes from observing behavior. How does a person react when faced with minor inconveniences? How do they treat the powerless, the ones who cannot advance their position or return a favor? These simple but profound observations reveal the true nature of a person far more than any grand speech or carefully curated public persona. Compassion, at its core, is not about what is convenient. It is easy to be kind when kindness comes with rewards. But what about when there is no reward, no recognition, no social benefit? This is the test of true character. The way someone treats a service worker, a janitor, a stranger in need. These interactions reveal who they truly are beneath the mask they wear for society. A kind word to a cashier, a genuine thank you to someone holding the door, a simple act of patience with a waiter. These are not grand gestures, yet they hold immense weight. A person who extends kindness without expecting anything in return has cultivated something rare, authentic compassion. Conversely, those who treat others poorly when they think no one of importance is watching expose a deep flaw in their character. The teachings of Buddhism emphasize that everything is interconnected. There is no separation between us and them, no hierarchy in the worth of human beings. The illusion of superiority, of being above another, is just that, an illusion. When a person disregards or mistreats someone they deem beneath them, they are not only harming that individual, but also poisoning their own spirit. Ignorance, attachment to ego, and a failure to recognize the shared suffering of all beings. These are the roots of such behavior. Those who have truly embraced wisdom understand that kindness is not a performance. It is a way of being. In moments of challenge, when the pressure is high and the world does not bend to their will, a person's true nature emerges. It is easy to be composed when everything goes smoothly. But how does someone react when plans fall apart? When they are made to wait longer than expected? When they receive the wrong order? These seemingly minor inconveniences hold great significance, for they reveal how a person navigates life itself. Do they become irritated, lash out, blame others? Or do they remain calm, recognizing that small disruptions are part of life, that their reaction is within their control? Consider the scene of a long queue at a coffee shop. One customer stands, arms crossed, sighing in frustration, visibly irritated by the delay. Another uses the time to reflect, to observe, to simply be present in the moment. The difference between these two individuals is vast. One is ruled by impatience, by a mind that resists the natural flow of life. The other has learned to adapt, to accept what they cannot control, to maintain peace regardless of external circumstances. The Buddha's teachings remind us that suffering does not come from external events, but from our resistance to them. The person who lets frustration take hold over a minor delay will struggle with greater challenges. But the one who practices patience in small moments is cultivating a mind that will remain steady even in life's greatest storms. And then there is time, how people use it, how they value it, and most importantly, how they honor the time of others. A person's relationship with time speaks volumes about their self-discipline, their sense of responsibility, and their respect for others. The habit of punctuality may seem insignificant, but it reveals much about a person's mindfulness. Someone who is always late, who cancels at the last minute, who does not respect commitments. They are not merely disorganized. They are demonstrating a disregard for the value of time, both their own and that of others. Conversely, those who show up on time, who keep their word, who honor the schedules of others, these are the people who understand the importance of respect and responsibility. Time is a resource that cannot be regained once lost. In Buddhist philosophy, it is considered precious, a gift that must be used wisely. Those who squander it without purpose, who indulge in distractions without mindfulness, who let the days slip by without meaning, they are wasting something irreplaceable. And those who waste the time of others, who keep people waiting without regard, who make commitments they do not keep, these are people who do not fully grasp the impact of their actions. A person's integrity is most evident when no one is watching, when there is no immediate consequence, when they could easily take a shortcut, when they could benefit from dishonesty. What do they choose? It is one thing to act with integrity when the world is watching, when there is pressure to do the right thing. But it is in the quiet, unseen moments that true character is revealed. Returning a lost item when no one would know if they had kept it. Resisting the temptation to cut corners when no one is supervising. Upholding ethical standards even when no one is enforcing them. These choices define a person's true nature. Buddhism teaches that karma is not just about external actions, but about the intentions behind them. The consequences of dishonesty, of deceit, of selfishness may not always be immediate, but they shape the person one becomes. Every act of integrity strengthens the spirit. Every act of dishonesty weakens it. Those who uphold their values in private, who remain true to their principles even when it is inconvenient, these are the ones who have built a foundation of genuine strength. And then there is power, perhaps the greatest test of character. Give a person power, and you will see who they truly are. Power, in any form, has the potential to corrupt, to magnify both virtues and flaws. Some wield it with wisdom, using it to uplift others, to create opportunities, to bring harmony. Others let it feed their ego, using it to dominate, to control, to serve their own interests. A true leader, one who understands the responsibility of power, approaches it with humility. They do not seek control for the sake of control, but rather they lead with the well-being of others in mind. They recognize that power is not a privilege, but a responsibility. There is no greater mark of wisdom than the ability to handle power with grace. Those who use it to serve, to protect, to uplift. These are the ones who have mastered themselves. But those who let power inflate their sense of importance, who exploit their position, who mistreat those beneath them, they reveal a weakness of character, an attachment to ego, a lack of true wisdom. Power does not change a person, it reveals them. And those who can wield it with humility, with fairness, with a sense of service, these are the ones who understand what it truly means to lead. At every moment, people reveal themselves, not through what they say, not through the image they present, but through their actions, through how they treat others, how they handle inconvenience, how they manage time, how they behave in private, and how they wield power. These are the 5 great tests, the observations that strip away illusion and expose truth. And those who understand these truths do not just see others more clearly, they also learn to see themselves. Every interaction, every decision, every small moment in life reveals something deeper about a person than words ever could. The true measure of someone's character is not in grand gestures, not in what they say about themselves, but in the subtle details of how they move through the world, the way they treat those who have no power over them, the patience they show in times of inconvenience, the way they respect or disregard the time of others. These are the things that expose who they truly are. Most people wear masks, carefully curating the image they present to the world. But when they think no one is paying attention, their real nature emerges. It is easy to be kind when there is something to gain. It is easy to be patient when things go smoothly. It is easy to appear disciplined when others are watching. But what happens in the moments when there is no external reward, no social pressure to do the right thing? That is where true character is revealed. A person who is kind only when it benefits them is not truly kind. A person who only shows patience when it is convenient does not truly possess it. A person who is honest only when someone is watching is not truly honest. The essence of a person is not in the words they speak, but in the way they carry themselves in silence, in solitude, in situations where the only witness is their own conscience. Some of the greatest insights into human nature come from the smallest interactions. Watch how someone speaks to a waiter, to a taxi driver, to a janitor. The way they treat those who cannot elevate their status tells you everything about them. Those who have true respect, true wisdom, true kindness do not reserve it only for those in positions of power. They extend it to all, not because they are being watched, not because it will bring them favor, but because it is who they are. And those who look down on others, who are dismissive, who belittle those who serve them, reveal their own weakness. A person who feels the need to assert dominance over those they perceive as lower than them is not powerful. They are insecure. Then there is patience. The ability to remain composed when things do not go as planned. Life will always present delays, frustrations, and unexpected inconveniences. How does a person react when forced to wait? Do they become irritated, snapping at those around them? Or do they remain calm, understanding that not everything is within their control? The one who loses their temper over a small delay is likely to struggle with greater difficulties. If waiting in line for a few extra minutes can break their composure, how will they handle true adversity? But the one who remains steady, who does not allow trivial matters to dictate their mood, has developed a strength that cannot be easily shaken. Time is one of the most valuable resources a person has, and the way someone treats time, both their own and that of others, reveals their discipline, their respect, their priorities. A person who constantly arrives late, who cancels at the last moment, who fails to follow through on commitments is not merely disorganized. They are showing that they do not value the time of others. They are demonstrating a lack of reliability, a failure to respect the energy and effort of those who planned around them. On the other hand, those who keep their word, who arrive when they say they will, who take commitments seriously, are not just punctual. They are disciplined, mindful, and aware that time is a currency that should not be wasted. Integrity is not something that is tested in public. It is tested in private. when no one is watching, when there is an opportunity to take the easy way out, when they could lie, cheat, or cut corners without consequence, what do they choose? A person who is only honest when honesty is easy is not truly honest. A person who only upholds their values when there is pressure to do so does not truly believe in them. The real test of integrity is in the unseen moments. Do they do the right thing even when it is inconvenient? Do they hold themselves to a higher standard even when no one is there to hold them accountable? Those who can look in the mirror and know they have remained true to their principles, even when it would have been easier not to, are the ones who carry real strength. And then there is power. If you want to see a person's true nature, give them power, not just in the form of wealth or authority, but in the small ways people gain influence over others. Watch how they handle a position of leadership, even in the smallest sense. Do they use their power to uplift those around them, to guide, to support? Or do they use it to control, to belittle, to serve their own ego? Power does not change a person. It reveals them. Those who remain humble when given power, who understand that leadership is not about control, but about responsibility, are the ones who have truly mastered themselves. But those who let power inflate their sense of importance, who begin to treat others as tools rather than people, who believe that their position makes them superior, are the ones who have allowed their own weakness to consume them. Every single day, people reveal who they truly are. Not through their words, not through their carefully crafted personas, but through their actions, through how they treat those who can do nothing for them, through how they handle inconvenience, through how they respect or disregard time, through what they choose to do when no one is watching, through how they wield power when given even the smallest taste of it. These are the things that expose the truth. And once you understand this, once you begin to observe these signs, you will start to see people for who they really are. There is a great lesson in this, not just in understanding others, but in understanding yourself. It is easy to judge, easy to analyze, easy to recognize flaws in those around us. But the real challenge is looking inward. How do you treat people when no one is watching? How do you react when things do not go your way? How do you manage your own time and commitments? What do you do when given power, even in the smallest sense? These are the questions that separate those who merely exist from those who grow. The path to wisdom is not in pointing out the weaknesses of others, but in refining oneself. And that is the true meaning of self-mastery. It is not about appearing strong, but about being strong. It is not about performing kindness, but about living it. It is not about seeking validation, but about being able to stand firm in who you are, knowing that your actions align with your values. The greatest test of a person is not in what they claim to be, but in how they live when no one is there to see. The way a person navigates their daily life, the way they respond to challenges, and the way they treat others all reveal a deeper truth about who they really are. Most people believe that their character is defined by what they say, by how they present themselves to the world. But in reality, зрение, что неудобство, цена величины, вы перестаете сопротивляться. You embrace the challenge. You step into the fire willingly, knowing that it is forging you into something greater. Most people never reach this understanding because they spend their lives running from pain. They avoid failure. They avoid difficulty. They seek the easiest path the safest route, the most comfortable existence. But those who succeed understand that growth comes from struggle, that strength is built through hardship, that success is not given. It is earned through relentless effort, through discipline, through the refusal to quit. And that is what makes the difference. It is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is the ability to keep going when others stop. It is the ability to endure when others give up. It is the ability to push forward even when every part of you wants to quit. There is a reason why the strongest minds train in solitude, why the greatest leaders spend time in reflection, why the most disciplined individuals do not rely on motivation, but on unwavering commitment. Because they understand that success is built in the unseen moments, in the hours when no one is watching, in the times when there is no applause, no recognition, no reward, only the work, only the process, only the relentless pursuit of something greater. And if you truly want to succeed, you must develop this mindset. You must train yourself to embrace discomfort, to push through fear, to move forward without hesitation. You must become the kind of person who does not wait for opportunities, but creates them. The kind of person who does not seek permission, but takes action. The kind of person who does not rely on external validation, but trusts in their own ability to succeed. Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to do what others will not. To wake up early, to stay up late, to work when you do not feel like it, to push through when it gets hard, to keep going when others quit. And once you develop this mindset, once you train yourself to move forward no matter what, you will become unstoppable because you will no longer be controlled by fear. You will no longer be held back by doubt. You will no longer wait for life to hand you what you want. You will take it. Most people do not understand this because they have never tested their limits. They have never pushed themselves beyond what is comfortable. They have never stepped into the unknown and trusted themselves to figure it out. But those who do, those who have the courage to act despite the uncertainty, they are the ones who rise above. They are the ones who succeed. They are the ones who shape their own destiny. And that is the path you must choose. You must decide that you will no longer wait, that you will no longer hesitate, that you will no longer allow fear to dictate your actions. You must commit fully with everything you have, knowing that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many obstacles arise, you will not stop. Because this is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who spend their lives wishing they had. The ones who succeed are the ones who never stop moving forward, no matter what. The moment you decide to take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. Most people live their lives believing they are at the mercy of circumstances, blaming their failures on bad luck, unfair situations, or the lack of opportunity. But those who succeed understand a simple truth. No one is coming to save them. No one is going to hand them the life they want. No one is going to make them successful. They must build themselves through discipline, through sacrifice, through relentless effort. And once you embrace this mindset, you realize that you are no longer trapped by your past, by your fears, by your excuses. You are in control. You have the power to shape your own destiny. But this path is not easy. It requires giving up comfort. It requires pushing yourself beyond your limits, beyond what is convenient, beyond what is comfortable. Most people will never do this. They will wait for the perfect moment that never comes. They will make excuses about why they cannot start today. They will convince themselves that they need more motivation, more time, more certainty. And in doing so, they will stay exactly where they are, never moving forward, never realizing their potential, never becoming who they were meant to be. Success is not built on wishes. It is built on action. Every single day, you have a choice. You can choose to take a step forward, or you can choose to stand still. You can choose to do the hard things that will lead to growth, or you can choose to remain in the comfort of inaction. The problem is, most people do not even realize they are making a choice. They think their inaction is caused by their circumstances, but in reality, Anzrinya, it is the small, unnoticed actions that expose the truth. The moments when they think no one is watching. The way they speak when there is nothing to gain. The way they act when faced with minor inconveniences. These are the moments that separate those who have truly developed wisdom from those who only pretend to. The world is full of people who know how to say the right things. They speak of kindness, of integrity, of discipline, but when it comes time to embody these principles, they fall short. A person can claim to be compassionate, but if their kindness disappears when they are in a position of power, it was never real to begin with. A person can claim to be disciplined, but if they only work hard when others are watching, their discipline is nothing more than an illusion. A person can speak of respect, but if they dismiss or belittle those beneath them, then their words hold no weight. It is not the grand moments in life that define a person. It is the small ones. Watch how they act when they are frustrated, when they are tired, when they are tested by life's little challenges. How does someone behave when things do not go their way? Do they remain composed? Or do they allow irritation to control them? A person who cannot remain patient in small moments will never have the strength to remain patient in the face of true adversity. The one who lashes out over minor inconveniences is showing a lack of control over themselves, a weakness in their ability to manage their own emotions. And if someone is controlled by their emotions, they will forever be at the mercy of external circumstances. The strongest minds are those who can remain steady even when everything around them is unpredictable. They do not allow their emotions to dictate their behavior. They do not let minor setbacks shake their foundation. They understand that life is full of delays, full of unexpected challenges, full of moments that will test their patience, and instead of reacting with frustration, they see these moments as an opportunity to strengthen themselves. A person who is constantly irritated by things outside of their control is showing that they have not yet mastered their own mind. But a person who remains composed, who accepts that not everything will go their way, who can move forward without allowing small disruptions to disturb them, that person has developed something rare, true self-control. Time is another great revealer of character. The way a person values their own time and the way they respect the time of others says more about them than most people realize. A person who consistently arrives late, who makes commitments they do not keep, who cancels plans without considering how it affects others. These are not just bad habits. They are reflections of deeper patterns of thought. They show a lack of respect, a lack of consideration, a failure to understand that time is the one resource that can never be replaced. A disciplined mind understands the value of time, not just in terms of personal productivity, but in terms of honoring the time of others. They do not waste it. They do not take it for granted. They show up when they say they will, because they understand that reliability is a reflection of self-discipline and respect. But integrity is perhaps the greatest test of all. It is easy to do the right thing when people are watching. It is easy to be honest when dishonesty would bring immediate consequences. But what does a person do when there are no eyes on them? When they could get away with cutting corners, with lying, with taking the easy way out. This is when true character is revealed. A person who only acts with integrity when there is pressure to do so does not truly possess integrity. The real test is in the moments when no one will ever know. Do they still choose honesty? Do they still choose to hold themselves to a higher standard? Every action has unseen consequences. A person who chooses dishonesty, even in the smallest matters, is weakening their own character. The more they justify small lies, the easier it becomes to justify larger ones. The more they excuse their lack of discipline, the harder it becomes to ever develop it. And the more they rely on external validation rather than internal principles, the more fragile their sense of self becomes. But those who remain true to their values, even in private, are building something far greater than a reputation. They are building unshakable self-respect. They are developing a foundation so strong that no external pressure can break it. Power is the final and perhaps most revealing test of a person's true nature. Give someone power, whether it is in their career, in their relationships, in any aspect of their life, and watch how they handle it. Power has the ability to magnify what is already within a person. Those who are insecure before gaining power will use it to dominate others, to inflate their own sense of importance. Those who are kind before gaining power will use it to uplift others, to lead with wisdom rather than control. Power does not change people. It reveals them. The strongest leaders, the ones who are truly wise, do not seek power for the sake of control. They do not need to prove themselves by making others feel small. They understand that leadership is a responsibility, not a privilege. They use their influence to serve rather than to dominate. They remain humble because they know that power is fleeting. That status and titles mean nothing if they are not backed by true character. But those who allow power to corrupt them, who begin to see themselves as above others, who use their influence to take rather than to give, these are the ones who were never truly strong to begin with. A person's true nature is revealed in these quiet, unnoticed moments, not in the words they speak, not in the persona they present to the world, but in the way they treat people who can do nothing for them, in how they manage their emotions in difficult situations, in the way they honor or disregard time, in what they do when no one is watching, in how they handle the power they are given. These are the things that show who they really are. And the greatest lesson in all of this is that it is not just about observing others. It is about observing yourself. It is easy to judge, to analyze, to see the weaknesses in those around you. But the real challenge is in turning that awareness inward. How do you respond when things do not go your way? How do you treat those who have no influence over your life? How do you manage your own time? What choices do you make when there is no one there to hold you accountable? How do you wield power, even in the smallest ways? These are the questions that reveal who you truly are, not just to others, but to yourself. Growth begins when you stop looking at others and start refining yourself. When you stop trying to appear disciplined and actually become disciplined. When you stop performing kindness and start embodying it. When you stop seeking approval and start living in alignment with your own principles. The greatest test of a person is not how they present themselves to the world, but how they live when no one is watching. And the strongest individuals, the ones who truly master themselves, are those who do not need external validation to do what is right. They do it because it is who they are. The way a person carries themselves in the smallest of moments, the way they navigate the world when there is nothing to gain, and the way they respond when faced with difficulties. These are the true indicators of character. Words mean little when actions do not align. A person can claim to be patient, but if they lose their temper over a minor inconvenience, their patience is only an illusion. A person can claim to be kind, but if their kindness disappears when there is no recognition, then it was never genuine to begin with. The truth of who someone is does not lie in what they say about themselves. It is revealed in how they move through the unnoticed parts of life. One of the clearest signs of a person's character is how they treat those who have no power over them. It is easy to be respectful to someone in a position of authority, easy to be polite to someone who can offer something in return. But how does a person act when there is no reward, when there is no expectation of reciprocity? The way someone speaks to a stranger, the way they treat a service worker, the way they acknowledge or ignore those who exist in the background of their daily lives. This is where the truth is found. Those who extend kindness, not as a strategy, but as a natural expression of who they are, have cultivated something rare. But those who treat others based on status, who shift their tone depending on who they are speaking to, who only show respect when it benefits them, these are the ones who have yet to understand the meaning of true integrity. Then there is the test of patience. How does a person handle small frustrations? When they are kept waiting longer than expected, when a mistake is made at a restaurant, when their plans do not go exactly as intended, do they react with anger, with frustration, with entitlement? Or do they accept that life is imperfect, that delays and inconveniences are inevitable? A person who is thrown off balance by something as small as waiting a few extra minutes is revealing more than just impatience. They are revealing a mind that is controlled by circumstances rather than by discipline. Those who cannot control their emotions over the smallest inconveniences will find themselves helpless in the face of greater difficulties. But those who learn to remain steady in small moments, who refuse to allow trivial matters to disturb their inner peace, are the ones who develop true resilience. A person's relationship with time is another silent indicator of who they truly are. Some people treat time carelessly, arriving late, canceling plans at the last moment, making promises they do not keep. On the surface, it may seem like a minor habit, but beneath it lies a deeper truth. Disrespect for time is disrespect for the people around them. When someone fails to honor commitments, when they waste the time of others without a second thought, they are not simply being careless. They are showing a lack of discipline, a lack of mindfulness, a lack of understanding of how valuable time truly is. But those who keep their word, who arrive when they say they will, who understand that every moment is an opportunity, these are the ones who recognize the importance of discipline, of structure, of moving through life with purpose rather than carelessness. Integrity is tested in the moments when no one is watching. It is easy to do what is right when there are consequences for doing wrong. It is easy to be honest when lying would result in punishment. But what does a person do when they know they will not be caught? When no one is looking? When there is no immediate price to pay, do they still choose honesty? A person who only does the right thing when there is external pressure does not truly believe in their own principles. But those who act with integrity, even in private, are the ones who have built something unshakable within themselves. They do not need an audience to do what is right. They do it because it is who they are. Then there is power, the final and greatest test of character. Give someone power, even in the smallest form, and you will see their true nature revealed. Some will use it to uplift, to guide, to lead with wisdom and fairness. Others will use it to dominate, to control, to feed their own sense of importance. Power does not corrupt. It amplifies what was already there. A person who was insecure before gaining power will use it to make others feel small. A person who was already wise before gaining power will use it to make others feel strong. The difference between the two is not found in their words, but in their actions, in how they treat those who cannot fight back, in whether they seek to serve or to be served. At every moment, a person reveals who they truly are, not in grand displays, not in rehearsed speeches, but in the way they behave in the unnoticed moments of life, the way they treat people who can do nothing for them, the way they handle inconvenience, the way they value or disregard time, the way they act when no one is watching, the way they wield power when it is given to them. These are the things that expose truth, that separate those who have truly built themselves from those who are merely pretending. But perhaps the greatest realization is that this is not just about observing others. It is about observing yourself. It is easy to analyze, to judge, to see these weaknesses in those around us. But the real challenge is in looking inward. How do you treat others when there is no reward? How do you react when things do not go your way? How disciplined are you with time? What choices do you make when no one is holding you accountable? How do you handle even the smallest amount of power? These are the questions that reveal who you truly are, not just to the world, but to yourself. Growth begins not when you start pointing out flaws in others, but when you refine yourself. When you stop seeking recognition for kindness and simply live it. When you stop waiting for external pressure to do what is right and hold yourself accountable. When you stop relying on circumstances to determine your mood and learn to master your emotions. The strongest individuals, the ones who truly rise above, are not those who appear disciplined, but those who actually are. They are not those who speak of wisdom, but those who live it. They are not those who seek approval, but those who walk their own path with certainty. And in the end, that is the only thing that truly matters. Not the image you present to the world, not the validation of others, but the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you have built yourself into someone who does not need an audience to be strong. Someone who does not need recognition to do what is right. Someone who does not need external motivation to keep moving forward. Because the greatest test of character is not in what you say about yourself, but in how you live when no one is watching. The truth of a person's character is not found in the moments where they are being observed, praised, or judged. It is not in the things they say about themselves, the way they present themselves to the world, or the image they carefully construct. The real measure of who they are is in the moments when there is no one to impress, no reward to gain, no consequences to fear. It is in the way they treat a stranger who can do nothing for them. Patience is another silent test of a person's mind. Many people believe themselves to be composed, but true patience is not tested in moments of comfort. It is tested in frustration. How does a person react when forced to wait? When things do not happen on their schedule? When an inconvenience arises that disrupts their plans? The one who lashes out, who allows irritation to take control, who cannot remain steady in the face of a small disruption, is showing that their inner world is fragile. They are not in control of their mind. They are at the mercy of circumstances. If they cannot handle a delay at a restaurant, how will they handle true adversity? If they lose their temper over something as small as waiting in line, what will they do when life truly tests them? But the one who remains calm, who understands that frustration is a choice, who refuses to let small things dictate their mood, is building something much greater. They are training themselves to be unshakable. Time is the most valuable resource a person has. It cannot be regained once it is lost. The way someone treats time, both their own and that of others, says more about them than almost anything else. Some people waste it, moving through life without direction, allowing distractions to consume them. Others disrespect the time of those around them, making commitments they do not keep, arriving late without concern, failing to honor the schedules of others. These are not just small habits. They are reflections of something deeper. A person who does not value time, who does not treat it as something precious, is showing a lack of awareness. But the one who is disciplined, who moves with intention, who understands that time is life itself, this is someone who has mastered themselves. They do not waste time because they know its worth. They do not waste the time of others because they respect it as much as their own. Integrity is the test that most fail. It is easy to do what is right when people are watching. It is easy to be honest when lying has immediate consequences. It is easy to follow the rules when there is pressure to do so. But what about when there is no accountability? When a person knows they could cut corners, could lie, could do the easy thing instead of the right thing, what do they choose? A person who only acts with integrity when they are being monitored does not truly possess integrity. The real test is in the moments where there is no external force pushing them to be honest, where the only thing guiding their actions is their own sense of self. Those who hold themselves to a higher standard, who remain true to their principles even when no one will ever know, are the ones who have built something real within themselves. Then there is power. Power does not create character. It reveals it. Give a person even the smallest amount of authority, and you will see who they really are. Some will use it to serve, to uplift, to lead with wisdom and fairness. Others will use it to control, to dominate, to feed their own sense of importance. Watch how a person handles power, whether it is in the form of wealth, influence, leadership, or even small everyday situations. Do they see it as a responsibility or as an opportunity to prove themselves superior? Do they use it to help others or to make others feel small? A person who becomes arrogant with power was never strong to begin with. But the one who remains humble, who leads with wisdom, who understands that power is not a privilege but a responsibility, this is someone who has truly mastered themselves. Every day, in every small moment, people reveal themselves. not through what they say, not through the image they create, but through the way they behave when they believe no one is paying attention, through how they treat those who can do nothing for them, through how they react when things do not go their way, through how they value or disregard time, through what they choose to do when there are no consequences, through how they handle power when it is given to them. These are the things that expose who they truly are. But the real challenge is not just in recognizing these things in others. It is in recognizing them in yourself. It is easy to see flaws in those around you. It is easy to judge, to analyze, to point out where others fail. But growth does not come from focusing on the weaknesses of others. It comes from refining yourself. How do you treat people when you have nothing to gain? How do you handle inconvenience? How do you manage your time? What choices do you make when no one is watching? How do you wield power, even in the smallest forms? These are the questions that define you. The strongest individuals, the ones who truly rise above, are not those who seek approval, but those who hold themselves accountable. They are not those who speak of discipline, but those who live it. They are not those who perform kindness, but those who embody it.